I'd like to take this moment to introduce you to Crystal Wilson-Perez. Even though her name is, she's still using her married name, she is no longer married. She decided on her journey to find herself that being married as well as being involved in organized religion were holding her back. I think that her story is pretty amazing and how she came to be the woman that she is. I mean, her accomplishments are unbelievable, especially when you consider that she was a young mom and divorced by the age of 30. So this sister has come a long way and climbed over some hills, dales, mountains, and gone through some valleys to get to where she is. But her spirit is great, her heart is wonderful, and I'm very, very pleased to introduce you to her. I'm hoping that some of her strengths would be a model for those of you who may be a little bit, you're just feeling a little fearful about stepping away from the things that you've known and are very comfortable with, and that you can see that this young woman did it, by the age of 30, and you can certainly follow in her footsteps and make the magic happen for yourself just as well. Everybody here is the goal for me, for you, is for you to live your best life. But in order to do that, you have to have the courage to get on the road and step away from the things that might be comfortable and familiar to you, even though they're holding you back. So meet Crystal. I will talk to you later.
Hey everybody, I would like to welcome to our newest guest for the Changing Your Life series. This is Crystal Wilson-Perez, and she's here with us to tell us her story. I hope that you are just as wowed by her as I am. This should be good. So introduce yourself, Crystal. Tell everybody what inspired you to send your name in for this series.
What inspired me was I was already transitioning in my life to just like in relationships, friendships, professional pursuits. And then I came across your channel like a couple of years ago. And I was like, wow, this lady she knows what she's talking about, because it really affirmed a lot of the things that I was already saying and doing and kind of contemplating. So it kind of gave me like the energy and co-signed on me going in the direction that I wanted to go in for my personal life. So who is Crystal Wilson-Perez? As you can see, my name is hyphenated, but I'm no longer married. And that was a decision that I made thoughtfully and just something I wanted to do for myself. I didn't want to stay in a relationship that was not benefiting me. He was a great person, but I wanted to focus on me.
Interesting.
So when you ask me, who am I can honestly say I am a person who is driven by my own agenda. I'm a person that's driven by my own heart's desires, things that I want to pursue for me with no input or direction from anyone else, things that's going to make me happy. That's what I'm focused on. Things that are going to build me up, edify me. That's what I'm focused on.
So let's backtrack a little bit, because that's interesting how you describe your marriage. When you got married, like how old were you when you guys got married?
Actually, I married my son's father. I was with the same man since I was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't really have a lot of relationships. So when I married my son's father, we were together for a while, but then we were married like 5-7 years. And if it's without, so I was divorced by the time I was 30. So
okay.
I'm 38 now. Okay. And when I got divorced, all I wanted to do was raise my son. And that was my focal point. And I did that. And I said, I'll date, I'll pursue a relationship afterwards. And what I did learn from that experience is to be careful about what I speak. Because I said, after my son graduated, I'm going to get married. And that's exactly what I did. I just married someone that was a friend. I felt like, he was a decent person, which he was. But one of the videos that you shared, it kind of let me know it's okay to have physical attraction for a person. Sometimes we put other things ahead, like, finances and just, you know, making sure a person is going to have the same moral and value system. And those things should be in place. But also physical attraction is very important as well. And you kind of
Mm-hmm.
gave me the okay to let me know that's not a selfish thing. That's not a superficial or shallow thing to desire in a relationship.
Who
So
told you? Do you recall where you got that message from that it was? That's really I mean, you're not the only woman who thinks that way. Like that shouldn't be a part of it. That they should like think of England or something. I don't know what they be thinking to tell you the truth. But my thing is, if I look at you and I don't feel my heart race and like I want you to touch me and stuff, it will never work. No matter how many other wonderful qualities a guy has, for us to stay together for years and years and years, that must be a component. But do you recall when you think back? Where did you get the message from that that was not really an important thing or wrong to think, or that shouldn't be something you focus on?
honestly, I can't even like pinpoint where I got that message from. I think for myself, it just seemed like maybe I just created it. Sometimes I make my own
Oh,
rules early on in life. I can trace back making my own rules. And to me, it just always seems so much shallow. You want to marry someone of substance. So that was kind of like further down on my list. And what I realized is actually that is so critical. It's very critical. And I got that from you, honestly.
oh
Mhm.
no.
Mhm. And that's okay to want that for myself as a woman. It's okay. In
So
addition
what?
to the other things that are givens.
Right. So now that you've made this transition, what direction are you going in? This is where we start talking about the dirt.
Yeah.
What's going on? So once you decided that at the age of 30 that you want to go on a different path, what was on your agenda and where are you
Okay.
going from now?
So at 30, I found myself divorced. So I just wanted to raise my son. And when he went off to college, I gave myself the okay to kind of like go ahead and date. And I ended up in a second marriage. And as I stated earlier, that guy, he's a phenomenal person, but I just wasn't physically attracted to him. And I stayed in that marriage longer than I should have because religion, you speak about religion, and that makes
Mm.
you feel guilty about making choices that are healthy and just very critical and significant for your own life and happiness. So that was a big hurdle for me to overcome, the whole religious piece. Um, and I actually left my church as a result of it too.
What was your religion, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a Christian, and I went to a church. I attended a church that was non-denominational,
Okay.
but I knew that it was going to be a problem for me to divorce. Um, and the church was a big part of my life, as in many African American women. It pretty much dominated my life. I probably was in church like 3 days a week. So that was a very difficult decision to make, but nonetheless, it was one that I made, and I never looked back. So I got divorced like 2 years ago, although I was separated for a year because my parents, they've been, divorce is not something I took lightly. Like my parents literally on the 13th of April just celebrated 48 years of marriage.
Woo!
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't even date somebody for 48 days these days.
Who are you telling? So I want people to know it's not something that I took lightly. Both times when I got divorced, it was a struggle because I didn't even know people who were divorced. You hear about this 50% of all marriages and then so many percentage of second marriages. But personally, I didn't know people that were divorced.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, you are lucky.
Yes, ma'am. And that's why I struggle with it so bad. And my girlfriends and I, we were trying to go through the Bible and find out, that escape, hatch, to get out of this marriage. But at the end of the day, I said, you know what? Let God be God. And I'm going to make the best decision for Crystal Wilson-Perez.
Okay, so now that we've passed that phase, we left religion behind. Where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go? This is a very exciting time for me. I am so, so happy with my life. I'm very content. I'm not dating. I think I'm starting to develop that desire to date, but it's scary. Dating is very scary. I see what you say about mental health. Just a little caveat. I have a bachelor's in political science, and I have my BSc in nursing. So I really study the mental health components. So dating is a very scary concept to me. I won't be deterred from it, but I'm very cautious about it. So where I'm
That's
going to
smart.
start?
That's what you should do. I wish more
Yes,
women had that, that
yes.
presence of mind.
hmm so where am I going right now? I'm thinking about law school, to be quite frank. I'm
Interesting.
yes. It was something that it was a career path that I had in my mind before becoming a nurse. But I was kind of discouraged. So I had this conversation with my sister earlier that we have to be careful not to let people convince us, talk us out of what it is that our true dreams are, regardless to even if they're trying to give us very good sound advice and have very good intentions. But nonetheless, we cannot allow people to have so much input in these big areas of our lives.
How
So
hard was that for you to reach that conclusion and to be able to do that, though? Because I think, especially coming from a background of religion, I find that when women are very religiously doctrinated, they're used to somebody telling them what to do. They're used to having a script, someone to think for them. And
mhm,
so for you to leave a husband, which the submission and him being the leader, all of those things are designed for women to not do their thinking for themselves.
mhm.
So I'm just very curious. So when you left like two marriages and religion. So how did you do it? How did you come to the conclusion by yourself that leaving that alone and thinking for yourself was the way to go? I'm really curious how you got there.
um, That's a really good question. I would have to say I kind of start focusing on just where I was in my station in life. Like, I was 46, and I'm like, at what point am I going to start living my life for Chris? At what point am I going to start living my life where I feel happiness and satisfaction? I never really considered myself a people pleaser, Miss Dad, but looking back on it now, yeah, I was. And that totally just dominated my existence, and I didn't realize it. So now, what has shifted whenever I weigh whether or not I'm going to participate in this or that or what I'm going to pursue, I I do seriously consider from what paradigm am I thinking? Is this something that's going to edify myself? Is this something that I really want to do? And one thing you taught us too, it's okay to say no. It is okay to say no, and it's a complete sentence.
Girl, no is my favorite word.
Oh,
No,
it's
no,
salacious.
heck no, hell no. What I look like? No. Or as Whitney used to say, hell to the no.
Yes, yes, yes. I was sharing that with a girlfriend, and she's still in the church. And when I was telling her, she was looking like, "Oh, what's happening to Chris? Chris is okay. Chris is thinking for herself." And don't get me wrong, I've always thought for myself, but I also was a person who wanted to bring a lot of people up with me. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that I was bringing up with me were people who kind of were indoctrinated in some of the old religions and some of the old things that we're expected from as far as society norms about submission and wifehood, all those things.
Hmm.
And I just kind of found it to be suffocating.
So looking at the people who maybe had the most influence in your life and get you to where you are now, who would you say those people are? I don't know, one person, two, three, whatever. So that you think really had a lot of influence on helping you become the person that you are today.
I have a couple of people. One, of course, is my mother. My mother, Miss Deb, had me when she was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she did. And she said, "You have to stop telling people that." I said, "I don't tell them as, to say that that was okay, but I tell them to show them that you don't have to like get stuck somewhere. You don't have to become a statistic because she is a phenomenal mother. She's phenomenal. And she has always supported me regardless to what the backlash of any decision that I made could have, would have, and has been. So definitely my mother. My mother definitely was that person who was my champion. When people would say like, "Oh, you can't do that. You divorced. You're a black girl. You this. You're that. You didn't come from that economic status." My mother was like, "How we gonna do this?"
I love her. I love her. This
Oh,
is
she's a
great.
bad sister. She is a bad sister. My mom. Another person that I met along life way. She's actually deceased now. She was the best employer I ever had, the best supervisor. Her name was Dr. Martha Sealing. And I worked in an environment where there were very few minorities. And she was just always that person who let me know that I got you and you are competent. And this is no reflection of who you are, where you come from. This is beyond where you came from. This is a societal demon that you're dealing with, and you're doing it with great finesse. You keep your head up, little girl. So
Oh, this is so fabulous.
yes, Dr. Martha Sealing. And I would have to say, if I was to pick one other person, my sister.
Is she older or younger?
My sister and I are 18 months apart.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm the older. And she has always kind of had that attitude that I don't care what you think, I'm going to do me, I'm going to be me. And she's always had like life and, you know, those things that people struggle with by the tail as far as being able to make good decisions, healthy decisions. And anytime, like when I have a problem, she always has a very rational and in-depth spin on, you know, as far as how she would approach it. I always say she should have been an FBI agent. She's a researcher. I think that's what it is about her. She's a researcher, so I don't care what you discuss with her. She's going to have some background in it. And I just admire her as a single mother herself. She's raised her son, and it was a choice to raise him alone. My nephew, top of his class, he's a phenomenal young man. He sings opera in 3 languages and does all these kind of like different kind of modern
Oh my God.
He's going to graduate ahead of schedule from college and become an attorney. I look at that and I look at how women struggle with their children. And I look at my sister, been raised with her all my life, and think, oh my goodness, you did that. So I would have to say my sister.
Okay. 3 phenomenal women in your life. That is fabulous. Well,
And
no wonder you so fabulous, girl. You can't help but be.
You know what? And I'm going to put you on that list, Miss Deb, because I tell everybody about you. I said, you should be required listening for young women. You should be required listening, because I do feel when people hear and know better, they can and will do better. And you have helped me tremendously over the last 2 years. I'm not so sure if I would have been able to make the leap from this second marriage. I'm not so sure if I would have been able to make the leap from leaving my church and feeling like it's okay.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so nice for you to say. I wasn't expecting me to be on there, coming in there with them 3. I'm just like, whoa, who am I?
Oh, no. You are the burnt toast lady, because I was eating a lot of burnt toast.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of more questions for you too. So now that you look back over all these wonderful things you've done and what you know, the person you are now, what would you say is the thing that makes you the most proud of yourself?
What makes me the most proud of myself is, I would have to say, being able to rear my son in such a toxic environment. Not my close circle, but the world at large, and the messages that they get from their peers, from the media, from, you know, just all those exterior forces. One thing I always tell people, I may have not been the best student, I may have not been the best employee, I may have not been the best daughter, I may have not been the best this or that, but you cannot hold a candle to me as a mother. And I feel that that was the greatest opportunity and gift that I could have executed in the way that I have, because he is an excellent man. He's an excellent young man, and he's kind, he's responsible. So I feel like to date, that's my greatest accomplishment. And then I would follow that, I would chase that with a real close second. It's just my personal devotion and commitment to educating myself, be it traditional or non-traditional methods.
Well, I am so proud to have met you. This is just, you know, I was telling the ladies I interviewed last week, which I have not all edited them yet. I've only did one. Okay. But it's just, this is just so, you guys are just so fucking awesome. It's just unbelievable. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, I knew there was this greatness in the listening audience. You know what I mean? I got peaks of it here and there. But this avenue to like put you guys front and center is just, this is going to work out a lot better than even I imagined. I really want to thank you. But I do have another question, actually 2 more questions. Okay,
Sure.
now we're going to do something fun.
Okay.
So now I'm about to put in your hand a magic wand.
Mm-hmm.
You can wave it and change anything in this world. What would you change?
Oh, I have an answer for that.
And I'm all ears.
I would change the neediness of women to be validated by exterior forces and realize that they are already equipped. It's innate in them to excel, achieve, and be okay without a degree, any kind of pedigree, any kind of man, any kind of family support. Those things are critical, but sometimes women feel like if they don't have them, they cannot exist. You can do this regardless to what obstacle roadblocks have come your way. So I watch a lot of like mystery TV, Discovery TV, ID TV, and the choices that women are making and continue to make that are so self-destructive. And I think it has so much to do with their lack thereof of self-esteem. So if
Mm-hmm.
I had that magic wand, I would hit women with those added doses of self-esteem so that they can make better decisions and do better for themselves and their children.
Ooh, girl, yes, let me testify. I'm not even religious, but I'm about to go to church.
Okay.
But no,
Yeah.
that is really that I am in full 100% agreement with you. It's like that's like an epidemic. Everybody's got low self-esteem. It's just unbelievable.
I had a conversation the other day where my girlfriend was telling me about she knows women who scroll through the offenders websites to find guys. I'm like, why are you looking for a mate
You
on the
lie.
offender?
What?
No, you know what? Let me tell you something. No, I do not lie because you know me as Sage Words, and I always reference my job working in corrections.
Yes.
That's me.
That's you?
That's me.
Oh, see, the secret doesn't come out.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And so I see so much. Yes. Yes. So that's for me, the women that come through there, seeing these men, supporting these men, it's a self-identity issue, it's a self-esteem issue. So that's what I would use that magic wand on because it's already downhill, but now we're tunneling through the core of the earth with it now is that.
All right. Wow. I would have never expected to hear that. Um, okay, now I'm kind of shook because that was like I was not expecting to hear that.
No, it's very true, and it's not the first time that I've heard it. And we're talking young girls, we're talking these millennials. Yes. So imagine what kind of seed they're getting ready to produce.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Looks like I have some more work to do. All right. Well, as we get ready to close out the interview, now this interview series is called "Living Your Best Life." When you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you? How do you apply it to your life?
Living my best life is to live my life as stress-free, as authentically, as crisp focus as possible, where I am going to be able to accomplish and do those things and pursue the things that I truly want without being encumbered by who think I can, who think I can't, or my commitment to anyone else outside of myself. So that's what living my best life is for me. And
Okay.
I love my life. I absolutely love my life. I
It
was
sounds
definitely,
fabulous. So
it
besides going to law school, Crystal, do you have something else that's on your agenda? Something else you really want to do with your life before before you do peace out?
absolutely. I know I need to get out more, so definitely travel because you said, and I quote, there are a zillion billion men out there, so get a passport.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to meet some of them.
Yes, I'm a good one for making up numbers.
Yeah. When I heard you say that, I said, I guess there are more men, unlimited men I come in contact with.
Oh yes. There are some of them you can't even understand what they're talking about. They speaking in some other language, but they make themselves known because they be shoop all up in your face. So it should be
Okay.
interesting. You're a cutie pie. They'll be all over you. You'll be like,
Oh,
can I get some air, please?
Well, I'm excited about that. Like it's not high on my priority list of priorities, but I think I'm at a space and time in my life where it would be welcome.
Okay, that
Mhm.
sounds good. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with the viewers about this series, or about what direction they can go in for learning from you?
Um, I think I would just probably close with, even if you've made some premature decisions that kind of like took your life a little bit off track, you got a lot of life ahead of you probably than you do behind you. And it's just never too late to get on track.
I love that. Well, Crystal, you were just fabulous. I want to thank you so much for sending your name in and volunteering to do this. I know it required a lot of bravery. A couple of people canceled. They sent their names in, but then they got a little scared about being on camera, so they canceled out. And I understand. I know it requires bravery. I'm used to it, but other people are not. But your story is fabulous, extremely inspirational, and you are like a champion, honey. Just came out on top, the winner.
Yeah, I've been excited for the last 2 weeks. I've been telling everybody I'm going to be on the internet. They're just looking at me like, you can be on the internet any kind of way, any kind of time. But I said, no, I'm going to be having a conversation with Miss Deb. So, and I, just gave me an opportunity to tell them like how you helped me, what your platform is, who it is that you speak for. And I thank you for that. And I tell people it's no fault to our mothers, but you tell us things that, sometimes our mothers didn't tell out of just not knowing, or maybe out of shyness or bashfulness.
Right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you right back.
Thank
So thank you, and I'll watch for this. It's going to be up soon, and I can't wait to show you the world, show
thank
everybody how wonderful you are. This is very, very wonderful meeting you in person finally, and I'll
you.
see you on the site.
All right. I thank you, Miss Deb.
I'll see you later.